Alabama welcomes New Mexico State to Bryant-Denny Stadium this Saturday for just the second meeting in the history of the two schools. Alabama won the only other matchup in 2019, 62-10. And to preview this weekend's matchup, I'm joined by former Alabama and NFL quarterback John Parker Wilson. JP, as always, it's great to see you.
Man, good seeing you too. After a win against LSU, I know it wasn't the exact process that we wanted during the game, but it's a win against a big rival.
Well, this week against New Mexico State, the Aggies enter the matchup 1-8. The Aggies average giving up over 38 points per game, and Alabama still leads the SEC in scoring at 43 points per game. But as Coach Saban says, it's about us and not them. With two big games the next 2 weeks against Arkansas and in the Iron Bowl, this is a chance to get the offense back on track, get the running game going, and get better at protecting Bryce in the pocket, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think this is a time where you can really focus on yourself, just like we do every week, but especially this week. New Mexico State's 1-8 coming to this. They've had some struggles. So I think it's Alabama's challenging themselves. I think the defense has really challenged themselves, and you've heard guys like Will Anderson and Phil Mathis be pretty vocal. So I know the offense is going to challenge themselves and try to get back to it, because we've been rushing the ball up to the LSU game, I think, pretty good. Bryant's had a really good year. We've seen flashes from Roydell. But we did have an injury at center. Dalcourt went out. Chris Owens had to come in from his right tackle position. So they'll be able to work through that this week with some depth. And, Chris Owens didn't have a lot of reps at center position if he was starting tackle. So this week he'll be able to work more, some backups be able to work more to be able to combat that.
Well, New Mexico State likes to pass the ball and defend the pass. The Aggies are in the top 25 in both passing offense and passing defense. Now, the Crimson Tide defense looked pretty good last week against LSU. As you mentioned, Will Anderson Jr. has been one of the stars of the Crimson Tide defense. He's second in the nation in sacks with 10.5 and tackles for loss at 17. How does having a guy up front like Will affect opposing offenses?
It's not fun. Speaking from personal experience, you got to focus on him every play. I mean, you got to know where he's at. You've got to game plan him. You got to put an extra tight end over there to help block, or a running back. So he's a game wrecker. And I think he's really affected defenses. I think he's made the guys around him better. Another guy on defense, too, Phil Mathis, he's playing at an extremely high level with a lot of energy. He's been a captain, I think, every week this year for the defense. So just shows you his impact that he has. And those two guys are playing at an extremely high level right now.
Well, it's going to be an early one this week, JP. You'll begin your radio broadcast at 8 a.m.
Yeah, we'll get the biscuits and the coffee ready. It seems like it's been forever since we've had an early game. So it'll be a nice change of pace. I know the players, you like the early games. That way you can get out and get moving instead of sitting in the hotel room all day.
Kickoff for Alabama's matchup against New Mexico State is at 11 o'clock on the SEC Network. Reporting from the Crimson Tide Production Studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, I'm Christopher England with Tide TV.